There's a concept that keeps coming up in the conscious relationships community, as well as the manifestation community, of your partner being a mirror and a reflection to you. So, the idea is whenever you feel triggered or activated, you're supposed to look within yourself because they're reflecting a wounded part of yourself or a pattern that you must then do the inner work to heal. And at first, this sounds very reasonable and sounds to be in line with all the other spiritual teachings. But as I explore this concept more deeply, I find that there's actually a lot more nuance and consideration that goes into this, because if you just take it as face value, it's very easy to turn it into you constantly monitoring yourself, or you trying to change yourself in order to shift the external circumstance or change your partner. And it's so subtle. Sometimes you don't even realize you're doing this, but if you're honest with yourself, it's like you're trying to get a certain outcome in the relationship. And I also think it can be quite dangerous to always think that when you don't feel good, it means there's something to fix or that there's something wrong. Especially for people who struggle with shame and guilt and just in general turning on themselves. I think it could be a very dangerous concept without the nuance. And also, sometimes there's just incompatibility. Like, it's not wounds you need to heal. It's just your intuition or your body telling you that this person's not a match for you. And so I've had this question for a long time of how do you discern if something's coming up as a reflection of something you need to heal within yourself, or a message that this is the wrong relationship and there's incompatibilities. And so I think I finally have a system that makes sense to me. So I want to share and see if it resonates with any of you. So the framework that I came up with is utilizing this concept with nuances. So I do think it's true that whenever you're activated or triggered, anytime there's a strong emotional charge, it does indicate that there's something going on within you. So inner work is necessary to sit down, to inquire, to see, okay, where is this coming from? Why do I feel this way? Especially when you feel that the emotional reaction is a lot bigger than the thing warrants. And then after you do your inner work, do your healing, regulate your nervous system, you then observe in the relationship. Is this a one-off thing? Is this a pattern? And what happens in a relationship? Is he or whoever your partner is showing up differently? Or are they the same? And this is an important part, over time, how do you feel in your body? Do you feel more relaxed in your nervous system? Do you feel more settled? Do you feel more at home? Do you feel more yourself? Do you feel that more of your essence is coming out? Or do you feel that over time you shrink? Over time you feel less yourself? Over time you feel just this sense that you're not spiraling up, but spiraling down. And I think this is the most clear indicator of this is the wrong relationship, because the right relationship will bring out more of you. So I think this is really, really important to be able to discern, because sometimes the answer really is to stay and to work through. And sometimes when you change yourself and the way that you react, the other person does show up differently. However, if it's an incompatibility and the relationship is just not right for you, no matter what you do, you're always going to feel that contraction in your body, or like, oh, something doesn't feel right. And it's not a wound, it's your body and your intuition trying to communicate to you that, hey, this is wrong. Also, I feel like there's a difference between an emotional activation versus like a knowing and an intuition. Emotional activation feels very urgent, and it feels like it could come out of nowhere, and it's less consistent. Like, for example, if this person is right for you, but you're having these activations, it would feel like generally you feel pretty good. Something happens, and then you get this strong wave of emotions, and now you're like, oh my gosh, should I break up with them? Whereas intuition knowing is more confident. Like when I was in a relationship that was not right for me, there is always this background noise of, I don't think this is right for me, but it's very quiet and it's constantly there. So it takes some radical honesty on your part too, to really listen and ask yourself, like, how do I really feel about this relationship? Do I really see myself with them for the rest of my life if nothing changes? Meaning, like, if they don't change, would you want to be with them for the next 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? And this is another very strong indicator is, I think the relationship is workable if the issues are more behavioral based rather than who they are as a person. Meaning, like, you don't actually need them to be a different person. So, for example, one of my relationships, the other person was not very intellectually curious, and that's just how they are. Like, they don't really think deeply about things. They like to kind of stay on the surface and be light, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it does not mesh well with me because I like to go deep. I like to talk about all kinds of things. And so I realized I wanted them to be different. Like, I wanted him to change qualities about himself and turn him into someone he's not. And I think when there's that, it means that's just not the right person. Whereas, you know, what if, example is like, if he's not as organized or not as clean, I think that could be worked on. You know what I mean? It's not so fundamental to who he is. Anyways, I hope this helps.